The war nobody talks about. There's a monster inside you, not the world, not other people, you, the part that wants comfort over growth, anger over control, distraction over discipline. It whispers excuses when it's time to act and pulls you backward the moment you try to rise. Most people spend their lives either feeding that monster or pretending it doesn't exist, and that's exactly why they stay weak. Stoicism teaches something harsher. Power comes from mastering the chaos within yourself first. Because the real battle isn't against life, it's against the impulses destroying you from the inside. And the moment you discipline that inner monster instead of obeying it, you become calm, focused, dangerous, and almost impossible to break. You've felt it before. That moment when something small sets you off and suddenly you're saying things you can't take back, making decisions you'll regret, burning down something it took you years to build, all because something inside you got triggered and you didn't have the strength to hold it. That's not weakness. That's the untrained monster doing exactly what untrained things do. It destroys. It consumes. It takes everything you've worked for and swallows it whole. And the worst part? You already knew it was happening. You watched yourself do it. You saw the reaction coming and still couldn't stop it. That helplessness, that feeling of being a passenger inside your own body, that is the most terrifying thing a human being can experience. Not failure, not rejection, not loss, but the moment you realize you are not in control of yourself. Marcus Aurelius, a man who commanded armies, governed millions, and faced betrayal from people he loved, wrote this not for the world, but for himself, alone, at night, when no one was watching. The first rule is to keep an untroubled spirit. The second is to look things in the face and know them for what they are. He wasn't performing strength. He was fighting for it, every single day, against himself. That is the war nobody talks about. Not the war against your enemies, not the war against your circumstances. The war against the version of you that refuses to grow. The version that would rather stay comfortable and call it peace. The version that mistakes reaction for passion and impulsiveness for strength. That version of you has been running your life longer than you'd like to admit. And today, that ends. Type this in the comments. I am the master. Now let's begin. Point 1. You are not weak. You are undisciplined. There is a difference between a person who is broken and a person who has simply never been trained. A broken blade cannot cut, but an unsharpened blade, one that has never been pressed against stone, never been tested under pressure, never been forced through discomfort, that blade has the same potential as the sharpest sword in existence. It just hasn't been through the process yet. That is you. Not broken, undisciplined. Most people confuse emotion with identity. They feel anger and say, I am an angry person. They feel fear and say, I am a coward. They feel laziness and say, I am just not motivated. No, you are a person who has allowed a feeling to become a personality. You have mistaken a passing storm for a permanent climate. And once you label yourself with your worst impulses, you stop fighting them. You start protecting them. The Stoics had a word for this pattern, prosos, self-attention. The daily, relentless practice of watching your own mind the way a guard watches a gate. Not to judge it, not to shame it, but to see it clearly enough that nothing gets through without your permission. Epictetus, who owned nothing and was owned by someone else, practiced this until his mind became the one thing in his life nobody could touch. He said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." And he meant it with every scar on his body. You have given your impulses a free pass for too long. Every time you explode instead of pausing, the monster gets stronger. Every time you scroll instead of working, the monster gets stronger. Every time you choose the easier path, not because it's right, but because it's comfortable, the monster gets stronger. And you wonder why it feels impossible to change. Because you have been training the wrong thing. Every single day, without realizing it, you have been practicing surrender. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is the act of choosing who you want to be over what you feel like being right now. It is the gap between stimulus and response. It is that one breath you take before you react. It is the decision to be the author of your life instead of a character being written by your worst instincts. That gap, that one moment of chosen stillness, is where your entire transformation lives. And it is available to you right now, in this moment, with nothing but the decision to stop obeying what destroys you. Point 2. Your emotions are not your truth, they are your test. Every person alive has stood in the middle of a feeling so overwhelming it felt like reality itself. Like the emotion wasn't just something you were experiencing, it was something you were drowning in. The anger didn't feel like anger, it felt like justice. The fear didn't feel like fear, it felt like wisdom. The sadness didn't feel like a passing state, it felt like the permanent truth of who you are and what your life means. And in that moment, the monster had you completely. Not because you were weak, but because you believed the feeling was the verdict. This is the most dangerous place a human being can live. Inside an emotion they have mistaken for reality. Because when you are inside it, everything it tells you sounds correct. Leave. Give up. Say it. Do it. They don't deserve you. Nothing will ever change. You will always be like this. The emotion speaks in the voice of logic and the confidence of certainty, and you follow it. Straight into decisions that cost you years of your life to recover from. Relationships destroyed in one sentence. Opportunities abandoned in one moment of doubt. Versions of yourself buried alive because a feeling told you to stop. Seneca wrote something that cuts through all of it like a blade. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. He wasn't dismissing pain. He was exposing the architecture of it. Most of what destroys us was built inside our own minds first. The catastrophe we imagined. The worst case we rehearsed. The insult we replayed until it became a wound that never existed at the depth we gave it. You have grieved things that never happened. You have lost fights that were never real. You have shrunk yourself to fit inside a fear your own mind manufactured. The monster lives in that space between what happened and what you told yourself about it. Feed that space with unconsciousness, and it becomes a prison. But enter that space with awareness, with the cold, clear, stoic discipline of separating fact from feeling. And, suddenly, you are no longer the prisoner. You are the interrogator. You look at the emotion and you ask it, are you real or are you just loud? Most of the time the answer will shock you, because most of the emotions that have controlled your life weren't truths. They were habits, old programs running on autopilot, triggered by patterns, keeping you inside a version of yourself you were supposed to outgrow years ago. Your emotions are information, not instructions. They are signals, not sentences. And the moment you stop treating every feeling as a command you must obey, you reclaim a level of personal power that most people never find in an entire lifetime. Because the person who can feel everything and still choose their response deliberately, that person cannot be manipulated, cannot be broken, and cannot be stopped. Point 3. Comfort is the cage, and you built it yourself. Nobody put you in this position by force. That is the part that stings the most. You didn't end up comfortable, stagnant, and stuck. because life was cruel to you. You ended up here because somewhere along the way, comfort started feeling safer than growth. And you stopped questioning it. You built the walls yourself, brick by brick. Every avoided conversation, every delayed decision, every night you chose distraction over development. You laid another brick. And now you're standing inside something that feels like stability, but functions like a cage, wondering why your life feels like it's on repeat. Comfort is the monster's favorite weapon, because it doesn't look like destruction. It looks like rest. It looks like self-care. It looks like, I've been through enough. I deserve a break. And sometimes that's true. But the monster knows the difference between genuine rest and strategic retreat. And it uses that language to keep you from ever leaving the place where you stopped becoming. The longer you stay comfortable, the more unbearable the discomfort of growth feels. Until eventually the gap between who you are and who you could be becomes so vast that crossing it feels impossible. And you stop trying. Marcus Aurelius understood this seduction better than most. He was born into wealth, power, and every comfort the ancient world could offer, and he fought against it deliberately, daily, almost obsessively. He wrote, "Confine yourself to the present, not the comfortable past, not the imagined future where things are easier. The present friction, the present resistance, the present moment of choosing difficulty over ease, because that is the only moment where real character is ever built." The cage doesn't look like a cage from inside it. From inside, it looks like your personality. It looks like your preferences. I'm just not a morning person. I'm just not disciplined. I just don't have the energy for that. These aren't truths about you. These are the rules of a cage you've accepted so completely you started calling them identity. And identity is the hardest thing to challenge in a human being, because the moment you question it, everything feels threatened. The ego fights back. The monster roars. It tells you that changing means admitting you were wrong, that growth means confessing failure, that transformation means destroying yourself. It doesn't. Growth means you were aware enough to evolve. Discipline means you respected yourself enough to demand more. Leaving the cage doesn't mean the cage was a mistake. It means you outgrew it. And outgrowing the comfortable, familiar, suffocating version of yourself is not a loss. It is the most courageous act a human being can perform, quietly, without applause, in the daily decision to choose who you are becoming over who you have been. Point 4. The person you're avoiding becoming is the only version that survives. There is a version of you that you already know exists. You've seen glimpses of it, in the moments when you pushed through something that should have broken you, in the silence after you chose discipline over desire and felt something shift inside your chest that you couldn't explain, in the rare mornings when you woke up and for just a few hours you were completely aligned, your actions matching your values, your energy matching your purpose, your life feeling like something you were building instead of something happening to you. You know that version exists, and you have been running from it, not because you don't want it, but because becoming it requires you to bury the version of yourself you've been using as an excuse for years. The wounded version. The version that gets to say, "I can't," because of everything that happened. The version whose past justifies its present limitations. That version is comfortable in its pain. It has built an entire identity around what it survived. And somewhere along the way, surviving became the ceiling instead of the floor. And the monster loves that version of you, because that version never threatens it. Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism, lost everything in a shipwreck. His cargo, his wealth, his entire life's work, washed away in one night. And instead of collapsing into the identity of a ruined man, he walked into Athens, found philosophy, and built one of the most enduring schools of thought in human history from nothing. He didn't wait until he felt ready. He didn't wait until the grief passed. He moved, broken, lost, with nothing, in the direction of who he needed to become. He said, "Man conquers the world by conquering himself, not after conquering himself, in the process of it." The person you are avoiding becoming doesn't require you to be fearless. It doesn't require you to be healed. It doesn't require you to have it all figured out before you take the first step. It only requires one thing: that you stop negotiating with the version of yourself that was never meant to be permanent. The pain was real, the struggle was real, but it was never meant to be your final address. You were always supposed to move through it, not build a life inside it. And every day you spend defending your limitations instead of dismantling them is another day you hand the monster exactly what it needs to keep you exactly where you are. Stop waiting for permission to become the version of yourself that scares you. Stop waiting for the right moment, the right circumstances, the right level of confidence. That version of you doesn't arrive before the work. It arrives through it. It is forged in the exact discomfort you have been avoiding. And the brutal, undeniable truth is this: the person you're running from is the only version of you that actually survives what life is preparing to throw at you. Every other version breaks. Only the disciplined one endures. Point 5. Discipline doesn't break you. It builds the version of you nothing can break. People have the wrong image of discipline. They picture restriction, punishment, suffering through something miserable to earn something distant. They think disciplined people feel nothing, that they've killed their emotions, numbed their humanity, turned themselves into machines that just execute without feeling. That's not discipline. That's suppression wearing discipline's name. And suppression always breaks eventually, violently, privately, completely, because you cannot bury something alive and expect it to stay buried. Real discipline is not the absence of feeling. It is the presence of direction. It is feeling everything: the rage, the fear, the grief, the desire, and choosing where it goes instead of letting it choose for you. A river without banks isn't free. It's a flood. It destroys everything it touches and settles into stagnant, purposeless water. But channel that same water. Give it direction. Give it banks. Give it somewhere meaningful to flow. And it generates power. It carves through mountains. It sustains entire civilizations. You are that water. And discipline is not the dam that stops you. It is the architecture that makes you unstoppable. Marcus Aurelius returned to this truth again and again throughout his life, because he needed to, because greatness doesn't make the monster quieter, it makes it louder. The higher you climb, the more the inner chaos fights to pull you back down. He wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Not tomorrow, not after one more preparation, not after the fear passes or the circumstances improve or the world finally gives you what you deserve. Now, in this moment, with everything you are carrying, be it now. The version of you that nothing can break is not built in the big moments. It is not built in the dramatic turning points or the cinematic revelations. It is built in the moments nobody sees. The morning you got up when everything in you said stay down. The conversation you walked away from when the monster screamed at you to destroy it. The night you sat with your own darkness and didn't let it make your decisions. Those invisible moments, repeated, stacked, accumulated over months and years. That is where an unbreakable human being is constructed. not in the highlight reel, in the hidden discipline. And here is what happens to a person who builds that, who does the quiet work, who faces the monster daily, who chooses direction over impulse, growth over comfort, presence over escape, discipline over desire. They become something rare, something the world almost never produces. Not perfect, not fearless, not without wounds, but steady, immovable, the kind of person who walks into chaos and doesn't add to it. The kind of person whose presence alone communicates something, that they have been through the fire and chosen to be refined by it, rather than destroyed. The kind of person who looks at the worst version of themselves honestly and says, "I see you, I understand you, and I am no longer afraid of you." That person is not a fantasy. That person is what you become when you stop obeying the monster and start mastering it. And every single second of that process, every painful, unglamorous, unseen second of choosing who you are over what you feel, is worth it. You came into this video carrying something. Maybe you knew exactly what it was. Maybe you've been carrying it so long, you forgot it wasn't supposed to be permanent, but you felt it. That weight of a version of yourself you haven't conquered yet, pulling at you from the inside, costing you more than you've ever said out loud to anyone. The monster inside you was never your enemy. It was your unmastered power. It was every suppressed emotion that never got direction, every wound that never got acknowledged, every capability that never got trained. Left undisciplined, it destroys you. But faced, understood and mastered through the cold and patient practice of Stoic self-command, it becomes the very source of your greatest strength. The rage becomes drive, the fear becomes discernment, the darkness becomes depth. Nothing is wasted. Everything is raw material. Stoicism doesn't promise you a comfortable life. It promises you something worth infinitely more. A life you are fully present for, fully responsible for, and fully in command of. A life where you are the author and not the casualty. Where the storm comes and you do not become it. Where the monster rises and you look at it and say, "Not today," and never again on those terms. You were never meant to be consumed by what lives inside you. You were meant to master it. And the fact that you are still here, still watching, still searching for that version of yourself that refuses to stay broken, that is not desperation. That is the strongest thing about you. Now go build the person nothing can break. Type this in the comments. I am forged.